Oh, Danny Gamble. These are all being done the same day. I've only loaded the one on racism. I'm going to load some of the earlier ones after this, and this will be my final one. But I did mention at the end of the last one that I would talk on greed. And to me, greed's the biggest problem in the planet right now. And it's not going to get better unless we figure a way to cap it. And as I said, that's not a communistic thing. It's not it's a capitalist thing, but it's not a bad thing. What happens if without a cap is that there's always a striving by people that are very good at making money and growing their wealth to grow it even more. But every time you grow wealth even a bit more, it's got to come from somewhere, and usually it'll come through the forms of labor and health and medical of people that are at the bottom of the pyramid. Food supplies and clothing and heat and housing, being able to afford to live anywhere. They'll just put more and more pressure, gas, fuel at the pumps and stuff, more and more pressure there so that they get more and more squeezed up the top. But I believe there has to be a limit, and by doing a limit, then the pressure's off them. They don't have to sit there and compete against each other. They make it to the limit, and they have everything they could ever want, and for generations their family will be having everything they want. So they'll still have all their planes and their yachts and their homes and their holiday homes and their pretty bank accounts. They'll have that, and so that people that are down below will have the motivation to have all that. But past that amount, the amount that just sits there in billions and probably trillions for some, who knows, but just sits there, and it'll never ever ever be used by their family or their families or their children's children. Hell, the planet probably won't last as long as their bank accounts will last. That money needs to get back into the people. And in many ways, I think, should it happen on a whole across the planet, so that there wasn't one looking at what they're getting away with it, if it was done on a whole, they would be like, well, this is good. I got everything I've ever wanted, and I know I'll be dead 400 or 500 years, and I've still provided for the next 400 or 500 years of my family tree line. We're always going to have ridiculous wealth, but I can actually feel good while I'm alive that people that are in poverty aren't anymore. People that weren't able to eat are able to eat. People that were dying of diseases because they couldn't get the medicine for it are now getting the medicine. People with rotted teeth and stuff that made them, have an unhappy life, and maybe, if they're really bad, it goes into your brains too, right? And maybe die young or whatever. So they're well now. When I walk around, the streets are good. The people are happy. Wouldn't that be a cool thing at the end of the day? Wouldn't that be worthwhile, giving up some of the obtrusive amounts? So by solving greed, then we solve some of the war issues too, because a lot of the greed comes from people that make money off wars and off selling arms and stuff. Because having a way to kill your enemy is an industry. So you need to have wars so that you can create more demand for your products. So you need to have demand, so you need to always have something going on. So what does that mean? It means people are literally dying so that people can have their industry and make money at it. So how stupid and sad is that? So maybe we can start doing away with some of those type of industries. Well, if that's my industry, how can I afford to get away from it? Well, you're right. We have to figure a way for keep you happy. Or maybe we allow you a little extra of your greed, because you're gonna be weaned off of it's like a bottle, off the breast. You're gonna be weaned off your breast and have to figure a way to go, buy milk like the rest of us. So we got to make sure that we don't create the environment that makes you want to say no way, or we're gonna keep forcing this to happen. But we should be looking at it, because the planet, could be so much nicer for everyone to live on. And those that aren't ambitious, they will be living in, the lesser of the homes, and they'll have the lesser of the holidays and cash in the bank and all that. But partly that'll be because they need to strive, and if they're not willing to strive, then they don't have to die, they don't have to rot, they don't have to have famine and disease. Like, this is sad. we should be looking at the planet as a whole. Well, if we get rid of greed, maybe we will start looking at it as a whole, because we won't be making people not like each other, as I mentioned in the earlier video. So with a cap on greed, with a whole huge amount of money that's just sitting dormant in bank accounts, being used for infrastructure, being used for housing, being used for medical, for dental, for creation of jobs, the planet will have people having to run from one country to another as much, because we're going to stabilize it. We're going to stabilize the food. Pretty nice, eh? That'll also obviously allow us to have more money towards creating better ways to run the planet, and you know, decrease things that are like oil and gas and coal, especially, and as I mentioned before, so that we're moving forward on trying to get control of you know, our planet's environment. Global warming and all that needs to be obviously addressed, and there will be some more money to help address it, and more focus and energy put on it, more buy-in. You know, if people have a full belly, they're going to buy into it more. You know, if people have jobs, they're going to buy into it more. So, yeah. So I do think greed has to be addressed, and probably the number one thing that needs to be addressed on the planet now is greed, because from that directional towards working to solve it, we're going to solve so many other issues. And then we need to look at the planet, as I said in the last tape, as a whole, as an entity, and we're humans, all humans of this planet, one set of humans, and then start figuring out how to make the planet maximize for all of us, and us stop ruining it for everyone, for future generations, and even for this generation. All right, that's not that quick, but that's my video on greed. Cheers, bye.